Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Hope you are well. Hope you're having a good year so far. If you're not, you've got the rest of the year. That's all I can say. What I wanted to do was basically take my channel into a slightly different direction, not permanently or anything. So this is just an incorporation of new ideas. So I'm trying to make sure that I incorporate different aspects of my life. And one thing I realized that I'm a mum. And actually no, I didn't just wake up and realize that I'm a mom. One thing I realized is that this is the part of my life that I haven't talked about, and I have some thoughts on it. You know, I'm not professional. I am not a mom of 5 or a mom of 3, a mom of 4. I'm a mom of 1, and so far I have 2 years experience. My daughter is 2, and I wanted to share some things, some frustrating, some good, some bad, just things that I have come across in my 2-year journey. And yeah, so normally I do makeup, skincare hauls, I do demos, tests, foundation reviews, all that stuff. So I do have a lot of that coming up as well, so please stay tuned. If you're one of my subscribers or if you've seen my channel before, that stuff isn't going away. That's going to be a staple. That's what I started this channel for. But what I actually wanted to talk about in this particular video, oh, by the way, also subscribe. If you're not subscribed, that is a crime. It is officially a crime in 2019 if you're watching my videos and you're not subscribed. But yeah, do please subscribe if you do like my content. If you're not, hey, I can't please everybody, but if you do like my content, you know, just hit that subscribe button and hit the notification button while you're at it. They're next to each other, they're free. And yeah, so you don't miss any of my uploads. And also leave a comment down below. Comments help the video, so I just want to be out there and I just want to just at least be clear. Share your thoughts. You know, comment sections are basically like little communities, and you see people leaving comments and I just basically scroll through. This is what I do now when I watch any YouTuber's video, big or small. I scroll through the comments while I'm watching the video, and it's just good to see if anybody thinks the same as me. So if you have some thoughts on the content you've just seen, leave a comment. It's free. You know, it definitely gets conversations going, it gets wars going, it gets battles going, it gets everything going. So, you know, be careful what you put there. You know, what you put there is up to you, but you know, get the conversation going. So yeah, if you have any thoughts on what you've seen on my channel on this particular video, please leave your comments down below. But yeah, so back to what I wanted to talk about. So I am a mom of 1 and I have a 2-year-old daughter. She's amazing, and I wanted to talk about things that I have come across or things I wish I knew. So this video is going to be titled Things I Wish I Knew, you know, before becoming a mom, or things I have learned as a mom, something thereabouts, I don't know yet. But these are obviously not words of advice for everybody. You know, you can listen to this, you know, you cannot, it's really up to you. So what I wanted to talk about, I've already put my points on my phone so I don't forget anything, and these points I'm going to talk about are not in any particular direction, any particular order, but they're things that I have noticed, or things I wish I knew, or things I have realized after becoming a mom. So basically tips. So the first thing, I think actually this is something that's crossed my mind, but I never really thought, because I'm not really an overly emotional person. My friends know me, they know it takes a lot for me to cry. Fun fact, I'm one of those people who will cry over a cat advert, or I'll see a YouTube video or see something that's like, see a 5-minute advert, a 2-minute advert, or I'll see there'll be a point in a movie that's just moving, and before you know it, a tear's rolling down my eye, where somebody tells me, oh, I'm getting married, oh, I've just got a new job, oh, this or that, and it's like, oh, congratulations, or I've just my boyfriend just proposed to me, and I'm, you know, I'm there with the person now, totally, you know, I'm happy for the person, but I'm not the kind of person that happy cries. So that is something that I think changed. So being a mom, basically, the point I'm trying to say is that being a mom has made me more emotional, has made me more in tune with my feelings. And yeah, so it's less of the trying to get blood from a stone, more of the mushy type, and it's a bit embarrassing, to be honest, but anyway, things happen, and you know, I feel like I'm a bit more in tune with my emotions, so I never really expected that. So that's the first point. I don't know if, you know, if you're anything like that yourself, or if you're the one that usually gets made fun of in your group of friends, and you're the one that they have to basically shake to get some kind of emotion, not emotion, but to get tears from. Obviously you get emotion from me. If I'm angry, you know. If I'm sad, you know. If, you know, whatever, if I'm happy, you know. But in terms of tears, that's the kind of thing where I struggle on. So yeah, that's definitely made me more emotional. Second thing is that I feel like when I became a mom, I think that's probably the first time I kind of heard of imposter syndrome, and that's when you kind of feel like a fraud, or feel like you're not really, you know, qualified, or feel, you know, it's something that you just basically don't feel comfortable. You don't feel like you're, you know, in the moment. You don't feel like it's yours, like, you know, that this is your moment type of thing. That's basically what being an imposter feels like, or the imposter syndrome rather. So when I gave birth to her, I didn't really feel, I mean, I felt love. I felt this immense, actually I should probably start with that. I felt an immense wave of love, which I didn't expect. I thought I would grow into it, just knowing myself, and knowing I'm not that overly emotional person. I thought I would grow into the love and not necessarily feel love immediately. But as soon as as soon as I saw her, I knew, like, you know, this is my child, this is my daughter, and it's a different kind of love. It's a love that kind of, that it's more solid than any other love that you've ever felt. So put it that way. So that is something I didn't really expect. I mean, people said, but I still didn't believe it because I knew what I was like. So that is one thing. And then also now the imposter syndrome thing. So I felt like a fraud. I felt like I was taking someone else's child home. It was so weird. Like I didn't feel like a mom, even though I had the evidence. You know, I had the pregnancy, I had the arrival, and yeah, I just didn't feel like a mom. And I don't know what I was expecting to feel, to be honest. But I just, for the first, and this wasn't like a week thing, this wasn't a month thing, this was like several months, even up until now kind of thing. I didn't feel like a mom. Like even now I still feel like I probably look like some kind of teenage mom or something, like that's, you know, that looks awkward, or does awkward things with her daughter, or doesn't really look authoritative, and doesn't look like a mom type of, you know, I don't know. Like I have this feeling that that's what people see when they see me. I don't know why I get it. It's probably all in my head. But yeah, so that imposter syndrome, I didn't expect to feel that, and I'm still trying to get over that. Another thing that I realized is that I feel guilty with a lot of things that I do, or decisions that I make with her. Like it's almost like you can't do enough. There's always an area to improve on, like such as right now I'm battling her sleeping time, trying to get her to have her dinner on time, trying to get her to have her bath on time, trying to get her to bed on time. Now I feel like I'm falling down on some area of this, and I don't know where to pinpoint, but I'm trying to make sure that she, you know, finishes dinner at a certain point, so she can have a bath, so she can get in bed, and so she can, you know, self-settle in and then go to bed. But that is like an example of things I feel guilty in, because I feel like I should have learned this by now. Like I know moms in my church, so I have a little church group, and she has like a little play group where I see people that I know, people from my church, and it's my church play group, but it's open to all. And she goes there once a week, and the few times I've gone with her, and you know, we were just talking to one of these women, and turns out they, like, one of the women gets her daughter to bed by like say 8:30, and I'm like, she's just finishing her dinner at 8:30. How on earth does your daughter sleep? And she sleeps through the night, and I'm like, wow, goals. So I suppose that is one of the things that makes me feel guilty, because I feel like it's one of those targets that I set for myself that I feel like it's almost impossible. Or knowing the kind of child you have, that she's just very active, doesn't want to sleep, eats very slowly, things like that. All of those things add up to her sleeping later than I know she should. And I know, so when I'm going by that standard, I feel like, okay, it's 9:30 and she's still not in bed, or it's 9:30 and she's just getting in bed, or it's 9:30 and she's still in the bath, and that, you know, it's that kind of thing where you just feel guilty. That is just one of the examples of feeling guilty. There's a ton of things to feel guilty about as a mom, like, oh, you know, you're working too long hours so you don't get to spend time with them, so things like that. I didn't really expect the level of guilt. Obviously things, I experienced joy, I experienced pride, I experienced excitement with her, with things that she does, amazement, things like that, amusement as well. But the guilt is just one thing, when you just feel like you're constantly beating yourself up over small things that probably don't even matter that much. I'm not going to kill myself over not getting her to bed on time every single day, but I'm going to try and work harder. So definitely the guilt. Also, there was one thing. So at the beginning, I don't know, I don't know if I've never really listened or never really taken notice of people telling me that breastfeeding was going to be hard. So obviously if you can't breastfeed, there's nothing you could do about that. It's a natural function of the body, but some women are fortunate that they can't. I obviously didn't know what I was going to expect. Luckily I was able to, but the problem with the breastfeeding was how much it hurt and how long it took to not hurt. I didn't know that, and I don't know why I didn't pay attention. Maybe, I'm sure my friends were probably talking about it, because I have quite a few friends that have at least 2 kids, and I probably brushed it off, didn't notice, or just forgot about that fact. And it was one of the most painful things, aside from the labor, and the pregnancy was actually all right, but the breastfeeding was hard because it was just pain. It's like when your baby is drawing milk from your breast, you can kind of feel it, and that is like in the first few weeks, like the first couple of days, it was so painful. I used to like tense up so badly, and yeah, so expect that it's going to be hard, but obviously it gets easier, and to a point where you don't feel anything. So yeah, so the pain was definitely a shocker, and it took a long time to adjust to that. On the topic of breastfeeding, this leads actually to my next point. I feel like as a mom, you basically lose all shame, and by that I really do mean you lose all shame. Basically that can go from, say, talking to your baby in public, like making faces, dancing, doing anything to make sure like they are happy, that you can see them smile, that they're not distressed. If they're having a tantrum, if they're uncomfortable, you're basically doing all sorts of crazy-ish to make sure that they basically go back to being quiet and they're not disturbing the peace. And that's what babies are very, very good at. They can just wake up and just be in a mood, because obviously they can't talk, so they're frustrated, so the next thing they do is cry. So many times I have been out in public and I've just had to get this rattle and sing and dance and get her out the buggy. And yeah, so basically it's all singing, all dancing type of one-man show, and that's basically what you turn into. So I feel like I'm saying basically a lot. That's what you turn into as a mom or as a dad, as a parent. Generally you have to just abandon all shame. There is no shame when you are a mom or a dad. And also things like being thrown up on in public and you still have somewhere to go, and you just have to carry that smell of sick to your next destination and just hope people don't look at you funny. So things like that, or having a poopy baby, she poops in her diaper, there are no more to be changed. You haven't packed enough, or you've forgotten to pack, just totally forgotten to pack, which yeah, I have been guilty of. And you just have to take that smelly diaper with the smelly baby around until you're done, or just try and get through what you need to get through while you're out, so you can get home and change the smelly diaper. So I say diaper for my American audience, but nappy is what we call it here. You just have to do whatever it takes to make them happy, and you just yeah, forget about yourself, forget about how people are looking at you or whatever. All that doesn't matter anymore. It's all about them. And I never thought, okay, naturally I'm a warrior, but warrior, I feel like I said warriors and W-A-R-R-I-O-R. What I mean is warrior. I do kind of overthink things sometimes, and I think ahead and think of try and make sure that I cover all the bases. So if any eventualities happen, I'm kind of covered. Or I'm one of those people who will think of the positive and the negative, and I'll just make sure that whatever, if there's a negative factor to whatever it is I'm doing, I've got it covered, just to make sure that I I'm not unprepared. And yes, I feel like with being a mom now, I worry about her future. Like, the girl is 2. Why are you worried? Like, you don't have control over her future. I mean, you have control over certain aspects, but in the bigger picture, you don't have control. So I feel like, as a Christian as well, you're not supposed to even worry, because you can't have faith and worry at the same time. The two things do not coexist. You can either do one or the other, and I feel like that's definitely an area I need to do less of, and just put my faith in God and just trust that, you know, he's got this. And, you know, I'm not the only mom out there, so why am I wasting time worrying when I could be spending time you know, sharing it with her, or, you know, doing something more useful with my time. So that is definitely a habit I need to curb. But yeah, it's definitely worrying about things that I'm doing wrong at the time, or things that she might do, or things that, you know, the world is getting into. I mean, we are like in a world now where, you know, people are at war with each other, and, you know, the slightest thing triggers people, and it's quite intense. It's an intense time in the world, and you just feel like, what kind of world is she going to meet when she is older? So that's the thing that's, you know, on my mind every now and then, and it pops up. You know, you watch the news and you just think, wow, what next? So I never thought I would worry to this level about a child that, you know, is so young. And yeah, but anyway, that's just me. And also, while she was young, this is a thing where I never even thought for a second that this would be me. And this is on the topic of baby poop and baby wee, and how many nappies they've gone through. And the reason why I worry about that so much is because obviously I've seen it, and, you know, midwives and health visitors, people talk about it, you know, to make sure that you've got, you know, enough nappy changes, just to make sure that things are working down in, you know, in your baby's digestive system is working appropriately. So you're worrying about, you know, how many poops he's done. You're worrying about how many wet nappies, how wet they are, how often you have to change, things like that. Yeah, that just never occurred to me that that would be a thing that you'd be worrying about. And if she hasn't had a poop all day, and it's like, oh my gosh, when is she gonna move? When is she gonna have a poo? And you're on like constant poo watch. And it's too TMI for some people, but yeah, when you're a parent, you jump on that bandwagon, and you're basically constantly on poo watch. If she hasn't pooed for a day, it's like, oh gosh, okay, she has to do a poo by tomorrow morning. How many poops has she had? How many times have you changed her nappy? Things like that. You worry about things like that. Trust me, that's gonna be you next. With her, I feel like because I think maybe she's just such a high-wired, active child, I never thought of how this would affect her sleep. Now, with her sleeping pattern, she went through like the whole, you know, waking up every 2 hours as a very young baby, and then as she got older and she moved on to solids and things like that, she slept for longer, up until the point where she actually slept through the night. And this was probably around the time when she was 8 to 9 months or something thereabouts. And I remember when she started, I think even like every time she wanted to teeth, or if like a new set of teeth were coming through, that would disturb her sleep, and she would just be restless and, you know, a little bit uncomfortable. But then as she moved towards being, say, 1 year and then onwards, her sleep pattern changed. Now this is me thinking, oh, I got this, my baby, I am so lucky, my baby is sleeping through the night, I ain't got nothing to worry about. No, that was not the case. That was basically a 3-month break, a nice trip. But the reality was she was not going to sleep through the night for up until like, say, even recently, she still sometimes doesn't sleep through the night. So I feel like for her, she slept through the night for a very short period, like a couple of months, up until like, say, maybe one and a couple of months, and then she started waking up. And a couple of things that I tried with her was so basically I tried to sleep train her. There are a couple of methods you can do. So the one I stuck with was having been in the room with her. That's probably the one I've stuck with most. And even till now that she is 2, she still takes her time before she sleeps, and that's something I didn't expect. I just thought that she would sleep through the night. Like, once a baby sleeps through the night, you don't have anything to worry about. They will just continue. But this thing is called sleep regression, and I just did not know about that. I found out about it when she stopped sleeping through the night and she wanted to wake up once or twice. And the thing was, she wasn't even looking for milk or whatever. I think she was just waking up just to make sure that I was there, or you know, that my husband was there. So that is a thing that I didn't expect. I didn't know anything about until it happened to me. So that is definitely something to watch out for. You know, don't just think you can just put your feet up and you know your work is done, your baby's sleeping through the night and that's it. You know, if you're lucky and that happens to carry on while through the toddler stage, great. But for some of us you know, we're back to waking up once during the night just to go make sure that we put our baby to sleep, or that we just go put them back to bed, that kind of thing. So that is where I'm at right now. Sometimes she sleeps through the night still, but other times she does wake up at least once or twice. So I didn't expect to have to deal with that. I thought that would just be a thing where, you know, maybe when a child is under 1, and by the time they're like toddler, you know, by the time they're like 1 onwards, that they sleep through the night, and that's what I've seen. But yeah, so that's not the case for me. So yeah, so those are the things, those are the ramblings of a mom. And yeah, so that's basically what I wanted to just share with you guys. And yeah, please do comment down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. I would love to hear your stories, just to see what you can relate to, or what you can share, or anything that I've missed. You know, this isn't everything. This is just what I can think of right now. I'm sure there's a million and one other things that I wish I knew as a mom, or while I was pregnant, or as a mom right now actually. So yeah, so this is where I'm going to drop the mic. So if you liked what you've seen, please do give it a massive thumbs up, share the video, and subscribe. That would help. Hit the notification button. I do have other tips and tricks and top this and top that, things that I've learned that I would love to share on my channel. And yeah, so until further ado, until next time, have a blessed morning, evening, afternoon, night. That's the wrong order, but anywho, I'm tired. And I will talk to you in my next video. Stay blessed. Bye for now.